to be making a more geometric looking apple using the Polyline shape tool. Automatically, yours is going to be in a line right here. I'm going to go underneath where it says format, change that to be Polyline. I'll know I'm on the right spot if I see a little icon that looks like a plus sign would be what my cursor looks like. Just like we did on the cube practice, you are going to trace the apple on the left and then move your shapes over to the right. I'm going to start out by outlining what I believe to be the largest color and shape. So I'm going to outline the whole apple. And this apple obviously is a very round, curved shape, but it's up to you to decide kind of what look you want your apple to be, or your image, sorry, to be when you are working on your final project. So if you have an image of a person or something else that is more round, you can decide if you want it to look more geometric in appearance than organic. Okay, the default color is that light blue with the black border outline. I don't want to keep my border, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to change my apple to be, I'm going to do it to a darker red because I'm looking at it right here and I'm noticing there's a bit of a lighter red here, but overall, I would say this is a bit of a darker red color. Okay, I really like keyboard shortcuts, so I click on the keyboard shortcut Escape, or you can press up here the Select tool, hold down your Shift key, and then slide to the right. All right, if you're not happy with where some of these points are, you can go in and double click on it with your left keypad cursor, and then you can then adjust the points. Anytime you click, that's going to create a point. So the more times you click, the more points you're going to have to adjust. I'm going to just scooch this one out ever so slightly on this side. And then make sure that you hover exactly over the dots to move them, or the points. You'll know you're able to move them when you see that plus sign pop back up again. Okay, not too much adjusting, just a little bit. Then I'm going to click outside of that, click back onto my Polyline tool, and I'm actually, before I start going into my apple, I'm going to create the shadow shape as well as my leaf shape and my stem. And then I'm going to go back in and find some of these highlights and other sort of colors that I need to add so this does not look so flat. All right, so I'm going to do the shadow right now. Again, just clicking wherever I see the outer edge. And now right here, I cut across the apple, and then I'm going to go back and connect because I know this shape is going to be hidden underneath this area here. So it does not have to be perfect. As long as I have the bottom edges where I need them to be, should be totally fine. I'm going to make that black. Hit Escape or click here for the Select tool, hold down Shift, and slide to the right. Now again, this is where I really like keyboard shortcuts. If you hold down the Control button on your keyboard and then the down arrow, I'm able to move it to the layer where I want it to be. So again, I held down Control, up arrow moves pieces more on top, and then the down arrow layers behind. You can also right click on the shape, go to Order, and then bring to front or send backwards, forwards, or send all the way to back. Again, the keyboard shortcuts are listed to the right of these options. I just find it easier to use the keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to double click on the shape and move 1 point ever so slightly, maybe 2 points. Okay, looks pretty good. Now, as I had said earlier, I'm going to do my leaf. So click back onto my Polyline shape tool. I'm not going to worry about this little stem part. I'm just going to do the outermost edge of my leaf. I can always go back in and add more details as I go. As the artist, you can decide how simple or detailed you'd like your object to appear. And again, I already know mine's going to look a little bit more geometric and angular just because I'm using that Polyline tool. So maybe I keep it a little bit more simplified with how I block out my colors as well. For my fill color, I'm going to change this. If I'm looking at the leaf, I'm seeing mostly a darker green color. I'm going to change that to dark green. Get rid of my outline. And then again, hit escape to select, or the select tool. Shift, hold it down the whole time I'm moving it, and slide to the right. All right, fabulous. So after this, I'm going to do the stem, and then I'm going to start finding some of these lighter values. So right now I would say I've got sort of my medium dark value, and then I'll find this highlight, and then I might go back in and find sort of one more darker value. By doing this, it's going to give my shape a more dimensional appearance, excuse me, and more 3D look. Okay, so I'm going to go in and make my stem. Click back onto the Polyline Shape tool. And this stem is kind of small and a little bit more difficult to trace because it is more detailed. So I'm going to zoom in so I can see it a little bit better. And if you like the keyboard shortcuts, it's holding down Control and Alt at the same time, and then pressing the minus key or plus keys that are along that top row next to your numbers. If you look to the left of the backspace key, you'll find those plus and minus keys. So again, Control, Alt, minus, zooms out, Control, Alt, plus, zooms in. I just find it helpful to do this when I'm trying to do a more detailed shape. Be a little bit more precise that way and not guess. So again, I'm just going along this outer edge of this shape, and since this is curved, I'm not so concerned about it being extremely perfect because my shapes are more geometric and angular. All right, I'm going to change this to a darker brown shade. And I'm just going to keep it consistent since I've not done any outline on any other shape. I'm going to continue keeping it transparent. It's up to you if you like to keep those outlines. Again, you're the artist, and it depends on what kind of style and look you're going for. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so I can see my other shape a little bit easier. And again, this is why we're keeping one drawing or image to trace on top of, and then one to move our pieces to, because you can see as I've already done just 3 shapes, I can't see exactly where I'd want this to be. Or as I'm covering them up, I can't see where the stem starts and ends. So that's why we have one to go off of and then one to move on to. Okay, so escape, shift, and slide to the right. Match it up as closely as I can. Okay, something to keep in mind is when you're done with this, you are not keeping your original image. So if something is ever so slightly off, it's not going to be the end of the world.